This guitar is 70-something-ish years old, and it shows in the way it looks, in the way it plays, and definitely on the inside. It's corroded. Welcome to Today I Fixed. Alright, on the workbench today, we've got this Star EG-80. In America, it would have been known as the Guiatone LG-50 or the Antoria LG-50. I think it was Antoria, hold on. Yeah, Antoria LG-50. It was built in the 50s and brought over, specifically it's the British model, I'll show you here. It says EG-80, which is the Star part number. The Guiatone and Antoria part numbers would have been LG-50. So we know that this one was made in Britain and brought over. It does not have its factory tailpiece, but we're going to replace this one with its factory tailpiece, as well as this knob is not the factory. This is a chicken head style knob, and it didn't have that from factory, but we're going to leave that one on there. I don't have another knob to replace it with. These are factory, and these are the OG pickups. It has an aftermarket tailpiece and bridge, as well as an aftermarket nut, which we're going to go ahead and leave today, but we're going to replace the tailpiece because it doesn't have a bridge ground. The bridge ground is currently sitting, it's that wire right there underneath the strap button. And not to mention, the tuners are in terrible shape. So we're going to go ahead and clean some of the rust off of them and give them a little bit of lubrication so you can actually tune the thing a lot easier. All right, let's go ahead and get started on teardown. I do believe I have neglected to tell y'all why we have to go this far. Only one of the pickups is currently working, and I think I may understand why. This thing is absolutely corroded and disgusting on the inside, and it needs to be rewired terribly. So I've made sure to take plenty of pictures so that I know where the wiring all goes, and we're gonna go ahead and desolder all of this and get it out of the way as well. We're gonna go all the way down and restart wiring this one from bare minimum.
It's always a surprise it's always a surprise when the tide comes in, when the tide comes in. But it's always a surprise it's always a surprise when you call again,
Now that we've blown the guitar apart, we're still not done with this assembly yet. There is still all of these that need to come apart because they are rusty crusty. So we've got to take these the rest of the way apart, and I think I might try and straighten that one out. She's a little bent there. But we've got to take the rest of these apart, which is what these are for, is because I need bins for the gears and everything that needs to go on and with these. As well as I need to finish desoldering everything from this board because it is rough. I wish I had a better word to describe this guitar other than rough, but it is woof. Awful. It worked before, which is the strange thing. This guitar played fine, sounded good, other than the fact that one pickup didn't work when you moved the pickup selector around. It didn't ever turn on, so only one pickup was working. So all this needs is a good cleaning, and we're going to find out if this pickup is good or not, or if the wiring was bad. Cleaning and rewiring is what I hope this guitar is the only thing this guitar I think needs. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the cleaning here. super easy. Just, I'm not gonna go as far down as I could with these, but we're just gonna take the screw out of the back of the tuners here, remove the peg and the other half of the gear set, and that's about as far down as we're gonna go with these, because I don't have the ability to remove those because they're peened. So they put little tabs through. Come on, focus. There we go. They put little tabs through, and then they'll hit it with a hammer and it'll flare out the tabs so it holds in, and I don't feel like redoing those. So this is as far down as we're gonna go with them for now. Just clean them up. This one is a different gear and peg setup. Obviously it's been damaged before, so I'm gonna have to remember that the peg with 2 holes in it goes with the gear that doesn't look the same, the one that's non-brass, and it also goes with the only Phillips head screw that holds a tuner together. We're also gonna go ahead and tear this apart because I want to do some chrome cleaning on the plate. And I'm going to attempt to do some corrosion cleanup on the output jack here. Since it's easiest to clean this on the pick guard, I don't know that I necessarily need to remove it, but I'm going to go ahead and put the knob back on and spray some electronics cleaner in it and get this moved back and forth a couple times while I wait for my soldering iron to heat up. This is the worst looking part of the guitar, so I'm going to zoom in while I tear this apart because it is terrible. This thing is corroded to high heaven, and I really just hope that the solder is still decent enough that I don't have to, that I can just remove it and not worry about having to sand off too much of the pots. The smell of this, it smells like my grandma's house. The smell of the solder it's weird. It gives grandma's house, you know? I also bet that this is a lead-based solder, so any kind of smoke that comes off of this, I'm gonna really try not to breathe it in. I'm gonna actually stand way back from it while I do this. But now I'm gonna go ahead and try and remove as much of the solder that I can. Next up on our to-do list is to find out if this pickup is actually working, if it's actually good. Because if it's not good, then it'll tell us whether or not the wiring is bad. And to test if a pickup is good, you set it to around 2K ohms. You take your positive and your negative, and you stick them on your positive and negative of your pickups, and you should get a resistance value. There we go. So you set this to 20K ohms, and then you test between your pickups. And this one's reading 4.92, and this one's not reading at all, which means we have a broken wire within the pickup. We're gonna try and open this up and see if we can find the broken part, but if not, we might just have to replace this pickup entirely, if we can find one. It's kinda gonna be impossible to separate these pickups because of the way the ground sheathing is, so I'm just gonna have to desolder this base alpha here, get this cover off, and see what's going on inside the pickup. Before I break into the pickup, I actually am gonna go ahead and start cleaning up on some of the stuff that I have. The tailpiece I finally got from the owner of the guitar, so I'm gonna try and clean up on it. It's got lots and lots of rust on it, and I'm hoping I can clean the chrome up a little bit with using the same trick that I used in the video on Stacy's mom. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some water and some steel wool, and we're gonna see if this thing will come around for me. Compared to what it looked like before, that is pretty dang good. Still not perfect, but that's because it's pitted, so the chrome, I knew it was never going to come all the way back. And this piece has obviously been repaired before. You can see the brass filling, or the brass they would have used for brazing it back together. But all things considered, I think it looks pretty dang good, and it'll be nice to get the guitar back to original. Or closer to original, I should say. It won't be perfectly original, but it'll get a lot closer. Since we're already on a cleaning kick, I'm going to go ahead and get these potentiometers cleaned as well, and take the switch out of the pick guard and clean it. We're just going to start cleaning stuff. Doesn't matter what order, but I'm going to start taking things apart, finish taking things apart, and continue cleaning them. This one was crusty as all get out, but I think it came around. We did end up losing our lettering that was on there. It had some markings on it, such as, like, this one has this M. It had B500K written on it, but already some of it was covered by solder. And I would rather have it decorroded than have the lettering on it. We still know what it is. We still know what it was. It just doesn't have it anymore. It'll be all right. We're not losing too much value by uncovering that or taking that off. I would rather have a decorroded pot. Go ahead, take the switch out and do the same thing. Might as well keep the cleaning train up. I've got a plan for these. We're gonna take this and chuck it into the drill here. Very gently chuck it into the drill. As far out as I can get it. And then we take the steel wool that we've already been working with. And just get all of them done.
Somewhere inside this
we're actually going to go ahead and put these in some white vinegar and see if that'll help take out some of the rust. And I'm going to try and be really careful not to get the pegs in there. So we're going to set them up all on the edges and then pour some vinegar in it. These have already been soaking in WD-40 for maybe 18 hours. They soaked overnight in WD-40. Pour them in until it's all covered, and we're gonna leave these sitting here for a couple hours. While those are soaking, I'm also gonna stick this out in the sun on something flat. I'll probably take this one as well because it's got a little bit of a wave to it. Stick this out in the sun and hope that it settles out, and if not, then I will have to get a heat gun and I'll stick it between a book after heating it up, two books, and flatten it out. So I'm gonna go stick that out in the sun. While we've got the pick guard in the oven, I'm actually gonna retry opening this up and see if I can actually get into it this time. I think my soldering iron it either needs a new tip, and it was also missing a screw, so I went ahead and found the screw and put it back in. But I'm gonna hope that it actually gets this hot enough to open it up, because if not, I'm gonna have to find another soldering iron. I've resorted to just digging at it. I'm gonna try this. This is a method I've used in the past, and it's not right, but you just use a box cutting blade and you just break the solder like that. Make sure this one's also cut, and now we can try and break this open. So we're just gonna use this screwdriver here, stick it in, be very careful. I don't want to hurt the coil that's in there. As long as it's still good, we definitely don't want to hurt it. We're hoping that there's just some kind of loose connection between the coil and the cables that are outside of it. Hopefully the break is here. So we're going to get this guy back out. We're going to test the wire that's been added, so the white wire. And the white wire is good, so all we're dealing with is a bad coil. And I'm hoping I can find the break somewhere here. And when I'm touching the ends of this, I'm looking for a number on the thing here. Just verify my knowledge here. Touching the other coil, we get 4.95, and touching the other coil we get nothing. Touching the other two wires, which is for this coil, bypassing everything and going straight to the ends of the coil, we still get nothing. Best course of action, and it's gonna suck, is probably going to be opening up this coil here. So we're gonna gently, and I mean gently, peel back at the edges of the tape here. I need to get some Captan tape. And I've already been told that if I can't get the coil working, that he wants to do some other things with the wiring on the guitar just to give the switch some purpose. So we're not too hurt if we can't get it fixed. But I'm really hoping I can. Pull back our sheathed wire here far enough that I can try and find where it's either broken or I'm doing a terrible cameraman job here. Well, I found the end of our wire here, but can't exactly get to it. So what I'm trying to dig at here, this, and to be very gentle, the end of the wire that I'm pulling off is here, and it is wrapped in some of the other coils that are underneath it. So I'm having to be very, very gentle to try and extract this without tearing the other wires. And would you look at that, I do believe that the end of our little wire here is detached. It's going to be nearly impossible for you guys to see. So there's a little wire right here at the end of this little guy right here, and it is not attached to anything. And I do believe that I see the wire that it's supposed to connect to right here, but I can't. If I can get it out, we can get it reattached very gently. These wires are extremely sensitive. I'm gonna gently dig at this for a little while, and we'll probably come back when I've figured it out.
So I walked out the back before the second set settled my debt. I'll miss the rest, that's fine, I guess. The cavern is a crowd around, and I could scarce get by a second breath between the press. Now it's 3 a.m. and I don't know how I'll get home. The way is barely paved. I can't keep my eyes from closing, so I'll hit replay. Like a hand reaching for a handle, but to find that it was never there. Candidly, I can't handle knowing that it's all up in the air. I thought the world ended in March until I heard the door the back of my old diary. I gotta break sometime. It's underlined and red, scrawled across the screen beneath the spidering. I gotta break sometime. I left it all unread. And the more I know, the less I seem to care. Weighted down by everything and falling through the air. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. But hey, I gotta break sometime. Cracked inside a kiln between the firing. I gotta break sometime. You glazed it anyway.
Alright, so I couldn't get it to work. I spent probably 2 or 3 more hours off camera not making it work. So we're gonna actually just leave it dead inside the pickup, and I've talked with the guy who actually owns the guitar, and he was saying that he would rather just have different tonal options with the one working pickup with the rotary switch. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and clean the pickups, and then we will move on to finishing cleaning the tuners.
Written in the back of my old diary. I gotta break sometime. It's underlined and red, scrawled across the screen beneath the spidery. I gotta break sometime.
There you go. Those are done for now. Move on to the tuners, which are arguably the worst part of the whole guitar. So they've been in this vinegar solution for probably 2 days now. We're gonna start by trying to dap off all of the extra vinegar sitting here. And then we're gonna take the toothbrush and try and get all of it off of it. Alright, we've got all the rust off of them. I'm going to go ahead and rinse them off with some isopropyl alcohol and then coat them in some WD-40 so that they don't rust again, at least flash rust. And then I am going to try and clean the knobs all off while I'm doing all that. So, I will again be back after that's done. Also going to try and straighten these without breaking them.
I wanna meet you but it's too soon. I wanna meet you but I can't speak. Or dead across the room, but I am trying. Stuck beneath the spinning glow, very familiar here. Struck by your impression like all of those next to you, but I will try to stand and make it down the hall, but in the sound.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and put some grease on our tuners and reassemble them. I just want to make sure that they operate smoothly.
across the room. I wanna meet you at a slow dance. I wanna meet you but it's too soon. I wanna meet you but I can't speak or dare across the room, but I am trying so hard. 3 years ago, 1 month today, the second left but lost my way, and now I turn through heather walls. When Jenny says she's seen it all, she means from here to down the hall, and she is right in her own way. But I'm running out of string, and I ruin everything. But I'm running out of string, and you'll still find me. And I ruin everything. Come back and you'll still find me at the premiere. And I don't know when time begins. I don't know when time begins at the premiere. And I don't know when time begins. I don't know when time begins.
We've got them back in. Now we can move on to the electronics. Before that, I said that I was going to put this out in the sun, and it did not straighten itself back out, and I cannot seem to find my heat gun. So for now, we're just going to have to leave it as is. I'm already going to probably have to open this guitar again in the future because the pickup is bad, so we may be replacing the pickup in the future. So for now, it'll be just fine with a warped pickguard. I wish I could have straightened it, but I cannot this time. So for the electronics, we're going to be putting a strangle, like what's in the Jaguars, where it'll take all of the low frequencies and cut them off, so it'll make all of the high frequencies. You'll cut off the low frequencies, so you'll only get high frequencies, so it like strangles the sound and makes it sound choked, as well as a passive distortion, just like we added in my SG. While I'm doing the wiring, some of the wires have to go through the body, so I'm going to do all the wiring on this side that I can and all of the wiring on this side that I can before putting it through the body and doing the wiring that I need to do while the guitar is together. First, we're going to do the three-way switch here. So you can see all of these pins, and we're going to need to stick 3 of these together, and then on one pin we're going to add this ceramic capacitor. We're going to add the ceramic capacitor between ground and this pin, and then on the other pin on the other side we're going to add this diode distortion, or these diodes to create distortion between this pin and ground as well. In one position we're going to have a strangle, in the middle we'll have a bypass, so we'll just get the regular pickup, and in the other position we'll have the diode distortion. We get our diodes set up opposite of each other just like this. And if you want to know more about the diode distortion, or the clipping distortion that I'm using in this, I have another video on my SG. I'll link it in the description. I do a better job of explaining how the diode distortion actually works in that video. But in this one, I'm not going to go super in detail on explaining it. I'm going to more worry about explaining the choke that I'm going to be doing with this. You know what? This capacitor I will explain in the wiring portion of it. My brain is not working, and I need to get this wired for now and see if it actually works first before I go try and explaining anything. So we're just going to worry about the wiring, and then I will explain it in the other thing. So in middle position, pointing at that dot, he wants it to be just a bypass, so it'll be just the regular pickup, volume, and tone. In the up position, it will be the diode distortion. And in the down position, it will be the strangle. In this case, we need to, let me make sure I'm doing this right. The diodes need to go on the left pin of this part of the switch, and the capacitor needs to go on the right side, because in the up position, it swings down and connects to this pin, and then in the down position, it swings up and goes to this pin. So I just need to get these soldered in. And we have to make this fit within a small cavity on the body. So we're going to try and get this close as we possibly can. And then I can trim off a lot of this excess. I don't want to trim it all off in case I have to remove it, but I can trim off a decent portion. And I really want to make sure that this part of it does not contact the middle pin there. It's very close, but it's not touching. Now I just need to get the capacitor in, which I will then be attaching to the same side at the end of the diodes here. They both need to go to ground, so I can just put them both together, and then when I run my ground wire to both of these, I can just hook them both in at the same spot. And then the same thing, I can just trim off a whole load of this excess. We don't want to trim it all off because we still need it, but that's pretty much it. And we'll be attaching our pickup on this side, and then the ground of our pickup goes here, and then this also connects to all of the grounds within the guitar itself. Because that definitely sticks off really, really, really far. So it might have to be one of these where they kind of float out like that. Okay, that fits. So when I go to finish this up, because I don't want these to touch each other, after I get all this wired and the grounds and everything, I'm going to take a piece of tape and put it between these pins and the ground here that's floating. Now we're going to work on the tone and volume part of the circuit, which is real easy. Just going to get a little bit of flux here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. On all of the pins that I will be soldering to, which they are already loaded with solder. But I've never really used flux before all these videos, and I'm starting to like it. It works really well. It's almost like they use it for a reason. Get all preloaded with some flux, and then tin everything.
Show you what we'd seen. The sun, the earth, the wind, the rain, and holding out for change. And all the snow you couldn't let go, you danced.
It finally took. It didn't want to take there for a second. And then the capacitor goes between the middle leg. Woo, that's still a little warm. It goes between the middle leg on our tone pot and then the far leg on the volume pot. The leg opposite of the ground here.
I'll go wherever you go. I'll go wherever you go. I'll go wherever you go. I'll go wherever you. Madeline, who lost the earth, made it out by noon. The sun had shone the earth as well. Her eyes were to have moons. And even when we lost ourselves to something in between, the words we shared are all still there to show us where we'd be. I'll go.
Now, the output of this guitar comes out of the middle pin on this volume. So for the output, we're going to go ahead and use red, just because it's what I have. The inside of this guitar is going to be very colorful because I don't want to have to waste wire, so I'm going to just use the 4 strands of wire I have here.
It's been a while, I've
and that was awful. My soldering iron is starting to crap out on me, so I'm gonna have to try and get myself a new one. Our next steps are to go ahead and bring the guitar body over and start wiring that. So to start wiring on the body, I'm actually going to go ahead and reinstall both pickups, which I believe go like this. No, this one definitely goes like this. There we go. And they go like that. So we're gonna get those reinstalled. Alright, so again, we're not using this upper pickup because it doesn't work. So I'm just going to fold its wire back up towards itself so I don't have any extra wires clogging up the area, or the switch cavity. The ground for the pickup as well as the ground for the output, because we need to ground out to this side of the circuit as well. We're going to clamp all three of these together and solder them up. Like I said before, the input from our pickup goes to these 3 pins right here. Those 3 are connected. And then the output from the switch comes from these 2 pins here in the middle, which we've already connected and I showed you earlier. And just because I don't want anything grounding out here, I'm gonna cut myself off a little piece of electrical tape like this. And we're going to wrap our ground up so then it doesn't have a chance to touch anything well in there. And we can take these 2 and stick them through the body. Alright, now we just have 4 more wires to connect. So we are almost done. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw the plate back on our output jack here. We've got that thrown back together. And now we're going to stick these wires through here to make it a little easier on ourselves. We want them sticking out like that. And remember, blue is ground and red is hot. So we're going to connect them red to this pin up here, this top pin, and then blue to this pin. Alright, we've got those connected. Make sure they've been relieved. And that goes in there just like that. Actually, I think I've got that in upside down. I do believe it goes in like this. Yep, okay. I've got that back in there now. I'll have to screw that in a second. And then the only thing left is these 2 wires right here. This black will just go to ground on the back of the potentiometer. And the red will connect to the same pin that this capacitor is connected to. Should be it. Now we can go ahead and throw these down in there, tuck all of our wires. Oh, there is one more thing that I forgot. We need our bridge ground. And it's not perfect, but that'll work. Alright, now we can go ahead and jam all these down in here. Get all of our wires closed up. Now that we've got all the wiring out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and throw all of our screws back in. And I'll save you the pain of watching me do this. I will just cut to when they're all back in. So we've got it put back together, and I had to go ahead and throw the knob on for testing purposes. And if we've got volume all the way up, tone all the way up, this is in the bypass position, so in the middle it just is the pickup. We've got noise there. In this position we shouldn't hear much change at all. It's just the diode distortion or the diode clipping that we've done. So that's working. And then in this position we should hear the choke, which we do get a low cut on that one. And then we also have our volume knob, which you can't hear the change probably, but it actually is working. And then our tone, which is also working. So we can go ahead and get this sucker thrown back together. We can do what's next on our list of putting the bridge back on. Now that we've got it all tested and working, we are going to put the tailpiece back on, the correct tailpiece back on. And I've actually got to switch up my setup here. I need it to be more up to where you guys can see. We got to take this bobbin out, and then we take this, and then 3 screws. There's one there, and one there. And we want to make sure that our ground here is connected. Looks a lot better than the other one we had on there, by the way. We used to have this tailpiece, and I like this one a lot more. This is not quite the right way to do this. Normally you would drill it out, put a new plug in there, and then re-tap the hole. But for a quick repair on this one, we're going to take some toothpicks, put a little bit of wood glue on the end of them there, as far down in as I can get them, and then we break the end of them off there, and we just take our screw and we screw it in while it's still wet. Again, I know, not the right repair. You can blast me in the comments. This is not the right way to do it. I know. But this is how I'm doing it. Just because I would like to get it back together today. And I don't have the proper tools for doing this anyways. Alright, all that's left now that we've got that fixed is to throw the bridge and the nut in place and get some strings put on it. So we're going to do that real quick.
Tell you why, oh Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Oh Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why.
I had to flip the bridge around, But we're gonna go ahead and hook it up to my tuner, get it all tuned up, and we'll get you that sound demo. Any final thoughts on the guitar? Summarize, maybe?
It just sounds really good.
It's good. It's good guitar.
It's good. It's good guitar.
It's good guitar.
It's good guitar.
Okay, we see you next time. Goodbye.